boys and girls. We are live and in color, and I'm colored. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. I don't want to do that. Nope. Stop recording.
Oh, I had my best stuff right there. Forget it.
I was still live, kids. Still live.
I was like,
There's some glitches, you guys, because the show is silly and so is us. Hi, everybody. Who am I? I don't know what's going on here.
You're James Lott Jr.
Thank you.
Oh, that's who you are.
That's who I am.
That's him.
And this is the She-Hulk after show. Oh my God. She-Hulk Attorney at Law after show. Episode 4. Is this not real magic? Just like the show? Yes. And I have 3 co-hosts to the 4. First, my 2 regulars with me. We got Anthony Tupasi down there. Hello. Who I found out is really short. So now I really want to meet.
Wait, my profile says 6'3". Now the illusion is gone.
Yes, let's go. We told you that it's broken. I want to meet this person.
I need to be a She-Hulk.
Well, that's not magic. That's not real magic.
But the man who I've made magic with, later on this month, it'll be 7 years doing the GH stuff. We're going to celebrate that later. It's my work husband, Frank Moran. Frank?
Oh, my word. Oh, this is beautiful. James, you're rocking a little different do tonight. I love it.
Thank you. Little faux hawk, mohawk action. Only because it's hot. Everybody in chat.
Just like you.
Yes, just like me. Thank you. And you guys wanted one. I found one on the streets. And I found a female. That doesn't sound right, does it?
No!
Many of you guys know her from other shows that we've done together. She's the queen of soap operas. Ladies and gentlemen, a female, Candice Mack.
Hi, guys! Thank you. Making some history right here. Going, yeah, thank you.
Balance this thing.
Female guest co-host on the show because
I did it, you guys.
You did it, girl. You did it. Dreams can come true.
Fresh off this past Sunday soap block as well.
Yes, and you did also. People loved us on our alternative Sunday soap block that happened last week. She did Bold and the Beautiful with me, so we talked about that. But yes, thank you. Me and Frank will be. So Frank and I, the show will come back by time at the end of the month for us to celebrate. Me and Frank will celebrate 7 years together.
Wow, 7 years.
That's a long time. It's a long time.
You made it.
I know. Well, Candice, you've done 9 years of your show, right?
Yeah, 9 years of Soul Party. Next year will be 10.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Frank, I can't believe it's been that. I mean, 7. That's a long time. Like we've been talking about General Hospital. What the F?
Yeah. James, there's no one I would rather have make that journey with than you.
It's that 7-year itch. It's going to start getting a little dicey here.
Yeah.
I'm never going to scratch it. I'll tell you that.
It's the itch that keeps on giving.
Yes. Well, none of us. We're gonna defy the odds. That's what we're gonna do, kid.
There you go. Do it.
Looks like you've made it.
Looks like we made it. So we're here talking about She-Hulk. Of course, we want to thank you for making our show a nice little hit. It's growing and growing, and people are listening to us and watching us here on the interwebs and on the audio platform. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Tell a friend or two. Please. And the reason why we have Candice, and next week we have another female coming on, her name is Kim, because I was asked why there are any females. I told you before, finding a co-host that is the commitment is it's hard to get sometimes. So we found people who will come on for an episode or two, and that's what we decided to do. And so Candice is here to kick it off. Our show's gonna be the same. We're gonna talk about the same stuff. This was an episode, 36 minutes. Happy Disney Day, everybody. Happy Disney Day.
Oh.
It is Disney Day. And happy Star Trek Day. Happy Star Trek Day too.
Got a lot of
there
work.
You go, Frank. You did it. Live long and prosper. So I think it's all the days. I don't think it's any other days. I think it's it today. And tomorrow is the last days of our lives on network television in how many years? 60, 50 something?
57 years.
7 years. It's
Wow.
actually leaving the air. And I
God.
feel very strange about that, actually. I know it's going to Peacock. But I feel really weird about it. My DVR is not going to be the same ever again.
The end of an era.
End of an era. So
Like the Queen. She's.
And the Queen, I was going to mention next. We must say 2 people I think actually are very important. Bernard Shaw, who was the first CNN news anchor, and he's a black man. He was 82 years old, and he passed away today. And of course, Queen Elizabeth II, 96 years old. she held on as long as she could, and now we have King Charles and not Queen Camilla. So I think she's Queen Consort or something. She's not
Yeah.
named Queen Camilla because you know why, folks.
Mhm.
But yeah, so end of an era for both those things. I think both those things. I remember CNN came out and all this stuff. So, and he was a face you saw all the time. So to their families, everybody, it's an interesting day today as we head into tomorrow is 9/9.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, fancy, I know. Play the lottery. And tomorrow night, Frank and I and John Dunphy, who's not here tonight, he's doing his Big Brother jury duty show right now, which is it's a big night of Big Brother tonight. So he sends his love to everybody. But the viewers will be back tomorrow talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi documentary that came out today. The documentary is only an hour. It's not really long. And we're going to break it down at 8 o'clock tomorrow live. And that show is huge for us also. So all you Obi-Wan Kenobi fans, we're back for an evening talking about the documentary. I think it's all the church announcements. That's longer than the actual show. There you go. Anyway, nice.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at
right, exactly, right. Thanks. Okay. I'm gonna ask you each first for your opinions of the episode overall, and then I'll give mine. I'm gonna let the lady go first. So Frank, just kidding. I'll let the lady go first. That's an old joke, because you know, old joke, like myself. Looking like Candice go first, just overall thoughts of the episode and a little bit about the season, because you haven't been on our show yet. So you can tell us a little about the season 2.
Okay, so episode 4 for me, this was not the funniest. This wasn't the most entertaining. I was really bored, to be honest, with this episode in some ways. The season, however, so far has been very entertaining, especially the controversial episode with Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, seriously, folks, like y'all that press because it's on body yada yada. Okay, we don't have the rights to that, but you know, it's a comedy. It's giving me, and I think I said this when I saw the trailer, sort of early 90s, like Alec McBeal type, mixed of course with the Marvel humor, the fourth wall being broken. So far, it's been very entertaining. It's Marvel, folks. Can't really do no wrong, except for this episode.
it's all on this, from Thor to Iron Man. This is the one.
This wasn't, I mean, it had its moments, but it was just like, okay, like, something was missing.
Okay, Anthony Tupasi, what is your overall thoughts, please?
I kind of back on track, because last week's episode I kind of dipped away, like, and I thought for me that was the one I didn't really love, but this one actually it kind of got me back into it. I kind of liked having Wong there, and she points it out right away, like how, you know, they're using Wong as a way to kind of get everybody back, and he's just a great character to kind of throw things around, and it was fun to watch her, you know, do lawyer stuff. I want to go into more of that later on, but I liked it overall. I think it kind of got me back on track, honestly. It just a lot of the characters, some of the just kind of the supporting characters in this were actually really, really funny to me. Like under her date, I don't know why that seemed really familiar, but he was horribly funny, you know, but yeah, it got me back on into it. It was my favorite after credit scene, actually, was this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now let's have Frank Moran kill it for everybody. Frank,
that's right. All right, it's time for the fun to end, everybody.
Ah, shucks.
You know, I don't know. I'm wrestling with the show. I mean, I still enjoy it, but boy, it's taken its sweet time. It's a slow roll through this. And I guess I'm looking at overall the Jennifer Walters She-Hulk arc, how she's going to come to accept this other part of her life, how she kind of reconciles those two sides of herself. And I feel like I want to see that story, but I feel like it's a really slow roll through very little bits of that through each episode. And then we get more of the legal actions in the Marvel Universe, which also is interesting. But I thought this case was just kind of a dud. I thought there's more that could have been explored in how a real magician kind of uses the legal system to try to, stop amateur magicians from actually using real magic to harm people. So, but it was okay. And I will respectfully disagree, Anthony. I thought I wanted to like that last end credit scene.
Yeah.
Because the idea was interesting, but
Mhm.
just like the repetitive nature of the dialogue just
Yeah.
it wore itself out too soon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, between like, was it Madison and Wong, that
Wong.
dialogue? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They played it a lot. It was like a yeah.
Yeah. I think if it would have gone farther, as opposed to just keep drilling down the drink well, and just kind of go out to different stuff, it would have been more fun. Because I did like their kind of interactions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just wish it hadn't been just so limited to
Yeah.
one.
I guess
only
Like
time.
one note.
Yeah.
Okay. That's your thoughts? Okay.
Oh, and now James is gonna tell us why we're all wrong.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. No,
Break it down.
Now, here's what's funny. I'm somewhere in the middle of all of you guys, which is where I like to be.
Oh.
It is nighttime. I can talk differently at nighttime. It's not no Sunday morning show, folks.
Okay.
It's Thursday. It's thirsty.
Tuck
Thursday,
the kids
folks.
in before you listen to this after show.
Exactly. Disclaimer.
It's gonna get a little.
It's gonna get a little too. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah, like
We're
James's
talking about the
place.
weather.
You're gonna get a hotel room.
And, yeah,
Before.
exactly.
Mhm.
I'm as dry as a Sahara desert. Thank you. So
Yeah.
That's earlier today.
yeah, really. Here's my thought. No, here's my thought. I mean, somewhere in between. So when it first started, I was like, oh my God, we're going back into super silly again. And I'm like, I don't mind slapsticky silly, but like last week, I'm like, I feel like it's just missing a little something. And I was just like, okay. But then I found myself, actually, I was the opposite. I found myself laughing at like literally LOLing in certain parts. I really did. There were some parts I was like, I started. The opening scenes were like almost like her boring. I wasn't into that. It was like the magician thing, whatever. But there were some scenes with Madison when she was on the stand. I will get to that actually made me laugh. They actually completely made me laugh. And the guy Cornelius, like a hype man. It was very, very silly. The episode was very silly. And we'll break down certain things while I was like, there's one scene that the dad needed to be in there. That was kind of boring. I see why some straight men and the nerddom are bothered by this scene, by these shows. It doesn't show men in a good light, but I have no problem with that. Actually, I think we take the piss out of women all the time. We've done for years. And it's time for men to have a little something towards them.
Welcome to the real world.
Yeah, some of it is still kind of true. But I'm also like Frank. I want to get to some meaty stuff. I'll take comedy, but again, I compare it to Will and Grace shows like that where Golden Girls like that. They will have a serious part to this. A little meat in there somewhere,
Right?
Because it is a superhero show. This is my first superhero show I'm watching. I haven't watched any of the others, so I have no idea how they compare. But it just seems super silly. But I did laugh out loud a couple times. That's my take on that. Okay, you're all bitches. Okay, so here we go. So it starts out with Donnie Blaze. Now, is he somebody? I always have to ask Frank, is he somebody or no? Is he made up?
I think he's made up. I mean, sadly, I kept on thinking Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, because it's similar. So I kept on thinking, so I don't know why they decided to go with a Donnie Blaze, but they did.
It sounds kind of slimy, I guess, or just whatever, fake or whatever, I guess. Hello, everybody. Hello. I can say I didn't chat room. Sorry. Hi. Let's see who said it. Oh, hey, Shonda. Hey, Haywood. Everybody's okay. Kirsten. Okay, guys. Hi, you guys. Yes. Oh, okay. But yes, we have that scene where he's doing some magician. It's very lackluster. He's on stage. I wasn't laughing at first. I was like, okay, he puts on some brass knuckles, opens a portal. So I goes for real. And then all of a sudden, we meet Madison. She's a regular party girl. She got drunk. She kind of made me laugh through the show. So I was like, okay, I'll take her. And literally, he sends her to Wong.
Yeah.
So now, here's something very interesting. So Wong, I hear the Sopranos theme, and I love that theme song. Oh my God. I was a huge Sopranos fan. And you know what, folks? I didn't mind the ending. Ha, 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 ha. Anyway, if you watch Sopranos, you know why I said that. I didn't mind it went to black. But it's like, oh, I love that. To me, it's one of the best theme songs of a primetime show ever.
Yeah.
And that the whole title sequence is wonderful. They do that. But it's long-term parking episode. I watch everything. Episode 5, season 5, episode 12. I was like, oh my God, before she said it, I was like, oh my God, that's the episode that killed me. So the girl said, in the episode, she says they kill Adriana. So on that, so a little brief backstory. Drea De Matteo decided to leave the hit show Sopranos to go where, folks?
The Joey spinoff?
This Friends spinoff called Joey.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on this spinoff of this #1 show. They spin off Joey. He's in California. She plays the sister, and it flopped. It flopped.
But
it killed the fuck out of her on Sopranos. That was a horrible death. I was like, I don't know if the producers were mad, but they said, okay, we're gonna kill the bitch, and they killed her. They killed her. Anyway, so DePaul. So we get to that. So we're at that point. So let's talk about that whole exchange. What do you guys feel about all of that? Yes, I want to hear shade. I want to hear anger. I want to hear sadness. Give it to me.
I will say I will relate to Wong because, like him, I've never seen The Sopranos. So while I know the big overall brushstrokes, I'm like, hey, I can relate. Finally, I mean, I don't have the busy excuse like he does as being, Sorcerer Supreme. I'm just a guy that's, just being a fool in Burbank, Illinois, or Burbank, California. So
wait, so Frank, you never watched Sopranos?
I never did.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, it was bad. And Haywood says that Drea De Matteo played a bit on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Frank.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah, so I guess a former colleague of mine from my Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. days.
I love it.
That's right.
Anyway, sorry, Frank, as you were saying, I'm sorry, as you were saying.
I liked the kind of budding relationship between Madison and Wong. I thought that was interesting. I felt like the Donnie Blaze stuff with her, it seemed kind of weird, the cutting of that, because when we hear her later, she says she was pushed through that portal. So we never really saw like how Donnie gets her into that, which I think kind of, without knowing that but not seeing it, it doesn't really let you sink into how just so much of a creep Donnie Blaze is. Yeah, and I don't know why the show, maybe they just didn't want to really do that, and they wanted to be able to kind of still play him as a somewhat decent guy. I don't know, but it seems like somebody who pushed a woman through a portal already is a creep. So
See, I thought she tripped. I thought she stumbled back into the pool.
She was drunk, right?
She was drunk. Yeah, and she was like, ew. And I thought she had tripped and of course she went through different, portals and everything. So like you said, Frank, that didn't line up because it was like, when did she get pushed? Did I miss something? Yeah. And I watched it 3 times just to make sure I wasn't going crazy. But no, it was just that whole situation wasn't good. I will say that I think the show was making fun of Twitter, social media.
Yeah, a lot of that.
Because again, when people are binge watching, they always, they don't know. And then somebody like Frank, who's never watched it, everybody finds out and says, oh yeah, this is the episode when James and Anthony found out about the secret. And it's like, I've been waiting to find out what's going on, so you just spoiled it to me. So I was like, and especially Marvel, I was like, Marvel was reading the audience a little bit like, thanks Marvel, we get it, we understand, we get it. With Madison, okay, be nice, Cams. She reminded me of old school reality Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was just like, okay, I get. At first I was like, all right, she's a party girl, and like that. She was okay for a few minutes, but she irked my nerves. She irked my soul.
I agree, because it seems like that's like a performance that is dated already. Like that's we've seen, early 2000s, and to see it now, kind of like, people still acting like this.
Yeah, like Mount Malibu and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, she's the perfect candidate. I was like, I get it.
Anthony, Tupasi?
I have to say the one thing that I think you said this earlier, James, about Donnie Blaze, was that I thought like he's going to be somebody pretty big in this. That I was my disappointment. I thought like, okay,
Yeah.
he's like, he's kind of sad and pathetic, but somehow that's going to be, he's going to become something at some point. I always feel like somebody's going to be somebody in this show, you know, the you know, but
Right.
yeah, that was weird. Other thing, because I think I go along with Frank's point, like it just screamed Johnny Blaze for Ghost Rider, but then again, that doesn't really make sense to put him in there. It seems like there's a lot of attention on other people, whether it's Wong or Donnie, that's not on Jen. And I kind of wanted to go back to Jen because the whole first episode is all about Jen and her working it out and figuring it out and what she's going to do. And it seems like the last episode was like Megan Thee Stallion, and it just seems to always be somebody else's journey. And she already, you know, like I said last week about that, when it was like, this is like, hey, it's my show. But like, I kind of want her to reclaim this part in the show. And I don't know if we've gotten to the trial part, but there's something Frank said last week that I thought was going to be changed this week.
We don't get to the trial part.
Okay, yeah.
Slow down. We got there yet.
Yeah, but I just wanted him to be something big, and he never kind of panned out. The only thing, the only reason why Donnie actually is effective is because of Wong, right? Because if Wong kind of supports everything in this story, if he's not there, there's not much to it, you know, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, go ahead, Frank. Go ahead, Frank.
Oh no, because I was where I thought the story was going to head, just based on that first beat with the Donnie Blaze's Magic Act, is I thought his sidekick slash buddy slash manager, whatever his role is, I thought we were setting up that he was really some big bad demon that was needing Donnie
Cornelius.
Blaze. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought that's where we were going. I was like, oh, I know where we're heading. And then the show did not go that direction. So it just kind of reduced the stakes of Donnie Blaze to me, unfortunately.
I thought that too.
I thought that too. That's what you said. I thought, because he was like, come on, do it. And I was like, maybe he's somebody, because he was more interesting than everybody else. It was like, and he was a hype man, kind of looking all that stuff later. Maybe he actually, as part of his stuff, made me laugh out loud, actually. That's what I'm saying. There's some things that he said and that made me laugh.
Okay, just one thing I want to know, just as a funny thing, I kind of just liked just the picture itself. I'm gonna use the word tableau again because I know you.
Yes, SAT words. Okay, tableau.
With that, like when we go into the portal and we see Wong sitting there in this very like ancient Asian styled, you know, like Tibet or something, and he's just got this big screen TV where he's watching, you know, the Disney Channel, you know, or watching Disney Plus, and I just like that feeling. Or just everything.
He was watching This Is Us.
Yes,
I was
both Sopranos and This Is Us are so heavy with spoilers.
Yes.
You know, that's what I thought was so funny about. Those are like ones that from week to week have some sort of twist or turn, and it was just he watched all those. But I just thought it was just funny to have this big screen TV in this relic kind of like a place, or his castle or his fortress, whatever.
And I'm assuming Frank, you never watched This Is Us either, have you? You watched that one?
I have not.
See. Told you she catered to people like Frank in that episode, like the Twitter space and all that.
I think you're right. I think those shows were chosen because they were appointment television shows that had because the spoiler thing was this big thing you was talking about, and they were emotional shows. See, that's the thing. So I'm going, now I want some more emotions in this show, bitches. I'm like, come on, like that's what I want. And it's like, and you're showing that he, And
you know the truth is, like James, that there is so much space for it, because I think he mentioned about the part when her dad walks in and has this talk with her. There's a spot that could be a really good heartfelt thing. Like, hey,
that's where I thought I was going.
Right? Like I know you're having a hard time dealing with it. It just became this kind of lame, funny or goofy kind of thing that never really was like that could be a little something right there, and it just kind of missed it. I don't know.
I felt that was like a part of the whole episode too. It's like there's certain parts during the show where me as a viewer, I'm thinking it's supposed to be going the emotional route. Yeah. You know, as when we talk later about like her dating profile and her quote unquote dating life and that guy, and well, it's a couple of guys, but it was like, okay, are we supposed to feel a certain type of way? But like you just said, you go back to kind of the small plot is Sopranos and This Is Us. Those are, and like you said, they're emotional shows. Like every scene hits you. You knew when to expect it. But with this, with She-Hulk, it was like, okay, you're just teasing us. Get it?
It's funny because we're episode 4, kids. Episode 4. Look at the title, kids. So my thing was, because that's the next scene we were going to talk. Just a brief scene anyway. Mark Lynn Baker, folks. Yes, for Perfect Strangers. But no, I really felt like, again, I said every week there's something something missing. I think it's almost there, and it's kind of funny because now I'm kind of wanting a Wong spinoff.
Oh yeah.
These episodes, kind of like there's actually a lot of story to mine there. I like give him a spinoff. Give him like a 5-6 episode spinoff. I'll watch it.
Yes, well, because there's so much there. He can go into all these different times and portals.
What a great, and see, the thing is, I don't know anything about him. So for me, just watching this, I just think that it's also he's like a great character that has like layers to him. I got more out of him in the last 2 episodes than I did of Jen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying, because when we go later into stuff, it's just like they're just quick. Her stuff's quick. I mean, the pacing is quick here. It's no joke. It's not like slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
It's like it is quick, fast, in a hurry. Is what it is in this show. Sterling K. Brown was in Black Panther.
Okay. Yeah, the dad of
Killmonger's dad. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Haywood. Okay, so dad comes. We don't care about him. Okay, so Wong shows up. It's like we got to take care of that, whatever. But anyway, Jen, the other side B story or C, I guess the B story. Or C story, I can't. There's so many stories on here. She joins Matcher as just Jen. I actually wish there was more commentary on that. Actually, I think it's a shame that they kind of touched on it throughout the episode, but I wish it was a little more. I mean, yes, like Sex and the City does it very well. They can be very comical, yet give you some emotion. Bless you. So she's on Matcher as herself. Wong shows up, complains about Donnie Blaze, so now we got a story. So our A story is going to be we're back in court apparently. He's going to sue him for trademark for real magic. So I thought, okay, I guess there's some funny moments. You know, he has his own way he thinks he's ruled by American history, legal history. Okay, that's kind of where we're at that point. So whenever up to that point, we're about that up to that point. Now we got a story set up.
What I like about, I mean, again, it's like what I find interesting about the show is the actual premise of where the MCU meets real world. You know, certainly, you know, comic book logic of Wong's point. You know, it's like, yeah, that's stuff you could just kind of wave away in a comic book where, at least more like in the Silver Age and the Golden Age, necessarily sticking to realism and the way the real world worked wasn't a big thing. It was more about telling fantastical stories. But now we're at a point where like, no, people can understand like the real world and it implications into like a genre universe. So have the scene of Jen discussing with Wong where the legal system needs to work properly to be able to have Wong succeed in any of this is interesting. And so, you know, I wish I would like to see more of that, better written.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys, other guys?
Well, I think, I mean, to kind of on the idea, that's funny that you mentioned that, Frank, because I had thought about that because, you know, it's like, I know, not to, we talk about X-Men, right? X-Men is like, there's the mutants and we're afraid of them and they're intimidating. You know, but here, all these people are immersed in this world. Titania is not just a villain. She's a super, you know, she's a social media mogul, right? You know, and like, you know, Blonsky is just part of the world. And it's not like we fear She-Hulk because she could be destructive. She's like, we need her to be that for our law firm. So it's kind of funny to watch it incorporated in this real world. Like when Wong pops in and out of these portals, no one freaks out. Even on their, you know, later in the date, he's like, oh, who's this guy? You know, it's like, I just love that it's so, you know, immersed that no one has any sort of like, oh, you know, this is odd or this is scary. Everyone's like, oh, okay. You know, they actually accept it. And it's kind of a fun, like, I just feel like the thing about why I can be so much for forgiving this show, because it, like, nothing about this show takes itself seriously at all. Like after the third episode, I just figured like there I wish there was, but like that would be extra at this point. There's just nothing about this that seems to have any sort of grounding in like,
I think you're right.
Like we're wanting too much from this when it's really not what it's, it's like, it's not going to be that. Like we have
it's just
plenty of
fun.
Marvel, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is that Marvel fans, we're expecting the scare factor.
Yeah.
Instead of, like with WandaVision was funny before it, started taking a serious turn. With this show, and I mean, you're right, having Wong pop in and out, to some people should question it, like, have a reaction to it. But it's sort of the reality. The reality is kind of thrown to, oh, this is just a normal thing. Every single day happens. No oohs and ahs. This is everyday life. So yeah, with this, like I said, with this episode in particular, it was okay. I do agree things need to start moving a little bit fast. And then I had to realize this is episode 4. We have 5 episodes left. So I'm starting to think that maybe next episode going forward, they're going to start upping the annex a little bit. But I also think Wanda's probably going to get a spinoff too.
Yeah. I don't, it's because I don't necessarily need every show to, make me feel. I mean, Seinfeld was known for, no hugs, no learning, kind of mandate for that. And that was still a great show to watch. So, so in that case, then it just brings me back to the writing of the show, where it's, if we're not about, trying to make us feel the heartstrings and emotionally about these characters, but just more having an enjoyable romp through the Marvel universe, I'm fine with that too. But then I just feel like the writing needs to be a bit sharper because right now it just feels like we're just kind of waffling in between. And I just need the show just like, hey, if you want to just be a romp, then let's just be a romp and just kick it.
Like pick a side, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I guess I am. You're right. I'm wanting too much. I want the world. I want the whole world. I want to lock it all up in my pocket. It's my bar of chocolate.
As you should.
Yeah, you should feel that way. But I think for Marvel fans and non-Marvel fans, non-Marvel fans want everything, because with other shows and movies, that's what they're accustomed to. They're accustomed to the emotional pull. They want more character development. It's like a soap opera. You want, Jen's supposed to be, flushed out a little bit more right now, instead of just kind of on the back burner, while all these other characters are kind of taking up the show. And some of the characters are working, some of the characters aren't working. Okay, with Donnie, he should have been something more than just a 99-cent store, version of a Las Vegas magician. Like during post credits, we should have saw that he was actually, him and his handler and the other guy was a part of a secret society that's going to do something, and we'll find out later. We should find out, because she made some comments, which we'll get to later. Even that actually kind of stuck in my head. I was like, I wonder if she's, gonna be back.
Yeah.
But with Jen, you see that she is struggling with lawyer, being a superhero, whatever, a daughter, and also trying to live her life. That's hard. But again, going back to what you said, Marvel fans, we want everything.
Yeah.
We also want everything. We want movement.
Like, I'm not even a Marvel fan, so for me, it's just like I feel like, I don't know. I think it's an opportunity to really make it something really special. I think, but you're right. I think that's what it is. It literally is just a comedy. It's a slapstick comedy that doesn't take itself seriously. She talks to the camera every once in a while and comments on it, and I guess that's it. So I guess watching the next episodes a little differently, because I think I feel like there's a spot right there. Like, oh, nope, don't I get it?
Right. It's like the plug and play Marvel. If you haven't watched anything, you could jump in and not have, like, it's fulfilling to have like Wong or Bruce there, but you don't have to know all that stuff. You can still enjoy it.
Yeah. So Nikki, like, who's always fun, who is her paralegal. We see her every once in a while. So I know her role is just to come in, have some zingers, be girlfriend, and that's that kind of thing. So I get that part. So she's fun. She suggests she make a profile as She-Hulk. That plays into something later. they go to serve Danny Blaze and Cornelius, and he's like, that scene actually made me laugh. It just made me, for some reason, I laughed out loud. And Cornelius is made to be just some hype man for him. And she says, "Are you just a hype man?" He's like, "Yeah," and he's made me laugh. And then she goes on some bad date. There's a dating montage. We get on these shows. The first black guy was hot. I was going to say he was hot. I was like, ooh, he was hot stuff maybe this evening. I was like, wow.
Cool yourself off, James. Cool yourself off.
I was like, where's my fan? I need something to cool me. I was like, oh, he's hot. Ooh, okay.
That's the part of the show you like. That was you're like,
that was it.
That part, they're gonna put more of that in there.
Yep.
Well, also the ending man too. I was like, yeah, he's hot stuff too. But he had the guy who, of course, that part made me laugh out loud too. The reaching for their bags to see who would do the check. I had to laugh. That made me actually laugh out loud. I've actually been there on some dates.
Right.
There. I'm usually a Dutch person. I'm also part Dutch also in real life. But I usually don't mind going Dutch on things, and that's nice, whether the date goes well or not. I've left someone with a check once on purpose. They called me fat on our dates, and I said, I'm done. So I walked out and left them with the bill. I took my food to go. That's how I did. Took my food to go, Frank. I took go. I was like, you package yourself, please. Thank you. I said, I'm fat and too fat for you, even though, whatever. I'm going to have a nice evening. I left him.
I would have done the same thing too.
So. I do know all that. So that's a good point. This is before the court thing. So, okay, the bad dates montage, serving homeboy, go.
We all been there. Literally, I'm gonna say, okay, since I am the woman, when I saw that, I was just like, he's even going to do, first and foremost, with him on texting and all that, saying, yeah, I lived in New York for 14. I'm like, even I was getting irritated. I was Jen. I was irritated. I was like, he's not connecting with me. And then when that scene, like you said, with the chat, I was like, now, if he dipped and dash, again, we all been there. But it's a whole different level for female. Because it's like, and I knew he was going to do it. And then he was like, oh, she's a 6. I'm like, I was like, see, now this is where I would have took a dinner roll and threw it at him or something. I just felt so bad for Jen. I really did, because I know, again, she wants to try to have a normal life, even though she can't have a normal life. And there's jerks out there. There's really mean jerks out there. And so I'm going to say it was funny, but I felt that a little emotional because, again, we've all been there. It sucks. They don't have anything to do with you.
Well, it's funny. One guy was a fan, and I've had that happen where they recognized me from AfterBuzz TV.
Oh, yes, because James is a star, you guys. I don't know if you guys know that, but he's pretty major.
Oh.
Very true.
Does it all.
He has a Tinder profile, and he also is on, I don't know the other date, Max.
No, I was on
Bumble?
Tinder for a while. I'm on
Bumble?
I'm on zero now. I gave them all up last year. They weren't working. But I was on Tinder, and there were a couple folks like, you're on that Days Are Alive show. You're on that GH show. You're that guy, and they knew who I was, and they were sending me their headshots. And I'm like, I'm not looking to cast people. I'm looking for a date. So that did happen a couple of times. So I just don't.
Oh, so they was trying to Frank Valentini you.
Frank Valentini me. Yes, that was not going to
Okay.
happen. I was looking for a business partner. But anyway, so you guys, and the last guy was a pediatric oncologist and that whole thing. So what did you guys think of this whole sequence of events? Look at the guys. So like,
no, I mean, I'm
like, okay, I want to hear from the guys about this. Like,
straight guys. Oh, this is gross.
No. I really loved it because I'm a big don't use the phone at the table kind of person. So this irked me, this whole scene. Like because it's funny because I'm from San Francisco and everybody from San Francisco always talks about how phony people in LA are. And I'm like, come on. Like, when's the last time? I mean, have you visited for 5 seconds and everyone's phony? Like, some people are phony in the Bay Area, in LA, in New York, everywhere. People are phony. It's just that's the person.
Like, hello, we're trying to have a conversation, Frank. We're trying to get to know each other.
Straight guy.
Frank saw he's a 6. He's a 6.
Might be a 4.
So he's checking out your Tinder if you're really off, James. He's making sure. He's like, wait, hold on. What was that? Tell me again. What was that? What was this name? I gotta make sure. No, I mean it was an irksome thing. I also think this is important because it frames. Remember, this is consistent with the show. There's Jen and there's She-Hulk, and when she goes to work, we have to remember. I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, Candice, but like. There's the real you that the world sees, and then there's the She-Hulk or the makeup or the done up version that everyone prefers to see you, the way they want to see you. And it just frames like when she got the attorney job, she had to be She-Hulk. When she wants to date successfully, she has to be She-Hulk. She can't get away from she can't do these cool things like Jen. She has to always change and be this ideal thing, and I think that's how women, I don't know, like I'm wrong, that's how women have to do. Like I can't just take, like when women take a picture on Instagram or something, it's not just me, they always have to put hashtag no filter. Like that doesn't matter. You're who you are. Guys don't put no filter when they do a selfie. They just put this is me. But for women have to put no filter because it's like, why are we doing that? Like what's the point of that? But I think it goes back to
that's society. That is how society is, sadly. Because we're taking me and Anthony are going to talk about this right now. This is
before you start, Candice, I just want you to be full disclosure. Anthony's married. So he's not single and dating. He's not single and dating like the rest of us, like you and I.
Okay. Thank you for saying that. That was a disclosure. Okay.
And his wife's gonna watch this later on.
Exactly. Yes. No, but I mean that's the reality is that you have society kind of picking which version you have to be versus your own self. Like James I've been on camera with makeup on, without makeup on, and thankfully you guys love me for me. Thank you so much. You love me. You really love me. Yes, I know I changed it up, but that's why I said with the show so far, you are seeing that battle of, okay, I want to be Jen, this beautiful, smart attorney at law who just wants to date a decent guy, but publicly they want She-Hulk. They want this powerful being for various reasons, whether it's sexual, whether it's for the popularity of, because if a guy gets with She-Hulk, it's like, yeah, I hit that. That's how that goes. So yeah, that scene particularly, I like I said, I felt bad because you can tell it's a battle within herself. And she's not. Yeah. I just felt bad.
I've always wondered about Superman.
Oh, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say about Superman. Like, because here's a funny thing about Superman.
Or Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Well, my thing was more. My thing was more Superman versus Clark Kent thing, and her being Jen versus She-Hulk. That was my correlation. But I was always wondering because I'm a dirty old man. I was always wondering. How is Superman in bed? Because we know how Clark Kent probably is. He's a human being, but
faster than a speeding bullet.
Does he? Yeah, that's what I said. We done it 2 seconds. That's what's happening. Like he's like really fast, or does he have super strength and lasting?
But James, I want to. There's something about that. Like it's even deeper to this. Like just like when society. Okay,
we're making the after show deeper than the show. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Like so. What does, let's just put this way, what does every heterosexual man want from Jen? They want her to be She-Hulk.
Be dominant.
Right? But if we look at Superman, what did Lois want from Superman? I want you just to be you. I want you to be Clark.
Okay, y'all bought that?
So I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's just funny, like how it's framed, right? It's like, I want you to be, women are like, I want you to be you. And guys are like, can you not be you now? Could you be the powerful you,
Is that true, Candice?
Yeah, sure. Lois Lane wanted more than that. Yeah, see, that's the way, again, the public viewed the women. They want the man to be so romantic and to sweep her off her feet and da 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 da. Hell no. dominant, and like, come on, did you not see Superman? I mean, like, did you not see, hello, the build up of him versus again the guys with She-Hulk is like, ooh, yeah, this is a challenge I'm willing to accept. Let's go. Let's see if I can make her melt. So yeah.
Frank, we haven't heard from Frank though. We haven't heard. Let's see, heard Frank. We haven't heard yet. He said it same.
I definitely see all of that. I think the other thing too is that the Hulk, yeah, at least for the Marvel Universe, is a terrifying creature. That's how everybody perceives him. They know if the Hulk shows up, not Smart Hulk because everybody's been used to them, but pre that, everybody was freaked out when the Hulk would show up. So I think more often than not, that's people's a more immediate association with Hulk. So I can see why Jennifer doesn't want that. She's now a Hulk as well, but has no interest in really embracing that side of herself. But the way she's presented herself is like she's to the public the good version, the safe version,
the people's
Hulk. The Hulk. Yes. So it's like, hey, no, she's cool. Let's have her around. But it's as Candice was saying, like with society, but they're just as fickle that if something happened and she engaged in massive property damage or did something unbeknownst, but just something more destructive that people didn't like, you could just see how easily public perception would just immediately just turn on her and just start looking her into being.
And Bruce said that too in the first episode. Bruce kind of forewarned her, saying, "Hey, the people going to see you this way. Like if you do something destructive, they will change." He kind of put that in there in her head a little bit, and that's why I said from jump, she's constantly having a battle with herself. And I think as episodes, I may be wrong, but as episodes continue, we're probably going to see more of that.
Yeah.
So.
All righty. Okay. So now we have the court case. So that whole sequence. I was not gonna say about that, but and they bring back homegirl as she's already drinking somewhere else. Is kind of and this whole sequence actually made me laugh also when they're doing those phony magic tricks. And she's like, stop at the stink ball, like the smoke ball. Like, I mean, like, and homegirl's like, you can finish my drink. It was all slapsticky, but I did find myself watching going, it's so silly, but my silly ass is laughing at it. And so it left with like a decision in 2 weeks, blah, blah. So what do you guys think about this whole court case? We'll start with Frank this time because Frank and I talked the court case stuff. What do you think about the court case?
Admittedly, it's like I wish the show just wanted to fully embrace its more rompy comedic side, because the premise of these of this dime store magician and his hype man as well as the lawyer all doing terrible magic.
That was hilarious.
It's a funny bit, but I just felt like if the show was so like, hey, we're swinging for the fences on the comedy, it could have been. This whole thing could have been written much better, that all these things would have landed a little bit more. As it was, I enjoyed those little bits in there, but I still just wanted it just to be just a little bit more.
Next.
You can go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, well, actually, one of the points I wanted to, it was funny, Frank mentioned last week, the trial with Blonsky. I don't know if you remember this, but Frank, you had talked about like, you wanted to see her have that big lawyer moment, that like this, like, I want to see her have this big lawyer moment where she like comes in and she like has her big monologue or something that shows that she's got this ability, this strength in her. And then they missed it again because there's the monologue that Wong has, like why you can't use the ring. Like, that should have been hers, because that should have been her saying like, look, this is the reason why we need to stop this. And that I kind of wish that she would have had that line, because then it would legitimize her like, okay, I really thought about this. She just kind of always plays second fiddle to the person that's there. And I want her to grasp that. So I thought about that again, because like, oh, she'll do, but she didn't. And then Wong actually gave you like, okay, oh, that's why this is really dangerous, why no one can have this ring, so I don't know, I thought that was a missed part there.
I think with that, it's probably going to come later. I think because we're still early, she's going to have, once everything starts to, fall into place, she's going to have that big, powerful moment that you're waiting for right now. With this one, I agree. There were certain parts of this trial that I was just like, okay, this is supposed to stick and land and make it be funny. And I was just like, oh no, this is kind of cringeworthy a little bit, because it was just like, okay, something is either going to happen or I don't know. And I was just like, I guess that's cute. Okay. And then with Melanie, she was like, hey y'all, like, hey, case closed. I was like, woo, girl, you're really irking me here. I mean, it's cute, it was funny, but with one, again, that was a good montage. But I have an issue. I don't know if you guys are going to talk about it, but about this fashion.
What?
The fashion.
Jen's fashion, or
Yeah, Jen's fashion.
Remember they mentioned that earlier in the show that she's not dressing pretty well. She's dressing very...
I mean, can we get, I mean, I understand that she's, you know, she's Hawk, you know, stuff like that. And Spanx, love Spanx. I mean, in the comic, she was dressing way better.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And that's, to me, it's like, well, it feels like by episode 4, we're still kind of going back to, she can't really, her clothes are still baggy because she doesn't.
Even when she was with her dad, that was really bad. I was just like, so it reminded me of when on Big, when Tom Hanks came back to being a kid. That's what it reminded me of. I was just like, oh, okay. And I've seen the actor. She has a fantastic body. So I'm just like, can we seriously, She-Hulk, what are we doing here? What are we trying to say here?
I mean, I would guess it's the journey that she's going to go through that we see by the time she's accepted both sides of herself, right. That all of a sudden the fashion clicks in, her being a better lawyer in court kicks in. So maybe I think we get to that point, but I also feel like, boy, we're taking our time. I mean, I'd rather see her get there sooner, and then let's just see all the stuff that she gets to do after she's really kind of confident as She-Hulk. But
I don't even know, like there's been so many tangents in this show that I don't really, not that I want to be able to predict it, but I feel like I don't know where we're gonna go. Maybe that's where they want us to be, but like I like to have a direction, because I've been watching a lot of shows where you kind of think like, okay, but then we kind of get thrown off balance a lot bit, like almost like they're making
we watch soap operas, so this is normal.
Yeah.
That doesn't even bother me. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to know everything.
But you should. I will agree, because again, since this is the 4th episode out of 9, so next week it's going to only be 4 episodes left. So we should have some kind of direction as to where certain things are going. Again, if we're going to have Wong back, or if we're going to have Melody, or Ghost Rider, just saying, because I thought the same thing too. I was like, let me find out. Because they're about to start hitting certain points with this show. I mean, I'm believing that we're waiting for a certain Daredevil to show up. We're waiting for this to happen and this to happen. Again, 5 episodes. They got to start picking it up. What's going on with those guys that was trying to stab her, last time? Is that some? Some things have to start happening now. Instead of, I just feel as though this episode was just sort of okay, we're just going to throw everything at you. Hopefully it sticks. Make you laugh, make you cry, make you cringe.
Well, who's coming back next episode, and at the end they show that. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead, Frank.
Oh, no, I feel like I'm excited to see Daredevil, especially in his old school costume. But I feel like now I've just got to set myself up for, it's not going to be as good as I think, as I want it to be.
Right.
It'll be this little blip, and that's it. So you got to lower my expectations going into it. Sort
of like General Hospital.
Very true.
Very true. Yes.
WGH.
So Donnie Blaze is back on stage, and another girl, this time she says no, and he makes a dove appear. Cutesy, right? Really cute. And then a dove hatches an egg. I'm like, uh-oh. And it's a baby demon.
Yeah.
Aww.
It was kind of cute. Oh, kind of cute. At first I was like, is that a gremlin? Wrong stuff. But he makes a thing, and apparently he opens up a portal to a bunch of them. It was very gross. And there are a room full of these things. Meanwhile, homegirl is about to get her freak on with homeboy, the pediatric oncologist. She's about to get her freak on with him. Meanwhile, Donnie goes to the portal to get Wong to bring him back to actually help. And so they go back to help. The demons are everywhere. She has to come get him. I actually laughed out loud a little bit too when Wong went to get her from her date. He's like, I feel like I'm your dad or whatever. Like, that was kind of cute, kind of funny. Again, Wong made me laugh. Like, there's more about him I kind of want to know more about. And then she has to, they're both, so we have our action sequence, I guess. All these, and they're growing. Some of them are growing, and they're gross looking, and they're not dying. And they have to put them into this other portal that's like cold. I mean, just, I don't know. How do you just want all that?
Were you all like excited about this level of threat that Donnie Blaze conjures up out of this portal? Or did you feel like you wanted it to be a little bit more menacing to really show the dangers of getting mixed up?
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I needed that.
Yeah, well, the fact that she was kind of talking to the fourth wall at the same, like through the fourth wall and doing it at the same time, took down the intensity and the gravitas of it. I think I felt like that was just like she was joking around while she was going around, which is, it's silly again, but I mean, you finally get this action part, and there's some serious consequences for like opening up a portal now, because you can, like you said, you can change time, you can bring things into different dimensions that you're not supposed to. So I was like, yeah, I don't know.
It's so flat.
Yeah, it was conflicting. It was conflicting. I was like, I think I like this, but I'm not really feeling like this is a really intense part.
I thought it was like a big demon that comes out and starts to eat people, or because they build it up. Because at first, you know, when she looked in her hand, it's this nice little egg, and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a portal or something. She's about to get sucked in, and then they had the little cute thingy, and I was like, oh, this is about to eat her. Or so I was just like already in my head, I was like, something's going to go down. Then all of a sudden, and it was just like, okay, I know I'm supposed to feel something, but maybe somebody's going to come in, somebody's about to pop in. I really built myself up for the scene. And again, it was just like, like, womp
womp. And when they figure it all out. I mean, they get everybody out there. They make Donnie and them promise to cease and desist or whatever.
The guy that she was dating was just so funny because it was so over the top, like every kind of like perfect thing. Like when he comes back, he's reading like Roxane Gay's Bad Feminist. It's like, oh, I'm just happy. It was just like so like, oh, no, stop talking about me. I need to talk about you.
And he picks her up.
I know.
I mean, she picks him up.
I told you, guys like that kind of stuff, apparently.
Yes.
Like when a woman takes control of certain things.
Yeah, I'm not saying no.
I had to chuckle the next morning. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, yeah, I love that song. First of all, it's kind of sorry, Belinda Carlisle. That's how you sound. I loved the song. Madonna made fun of it. I can do it too. I love the song. But they had this sunshiny song that next morning. It's bright. She's making breakfast. Also, my friend Amanda Salas was on Cancer Survivor on channel Fox 11 again. My friend Bobby D was on also. Was on the TV screen talking about free Titania. So we get a little piece of what's going to happen next episode, obviously. He comes out like, who are you? And I almost forgot about that. Actually, I was like, oh my God, that's why she was She-Hulk.
Yeah.
That's why I get the Clark Kent kind of thing. Like, I was like, oh no, he's like, he could get out of there fast enough. But then she's kind of like, it's hard dating your 30s, or she kind of joked it off a little bit. And then she gets like, so we get no emotional stuff from that, something like that. And then the doorbell rings. They have a comical moment about her being served by Titanium for the copyright for the use of the name She-Hulk. I mean, so they're really going to go there, actually. They're going to really go there in that direction of that. And that's how it ended.
I mean, I do like the idea of her having to defend her keeping a name which she's not a fan of anyway.
Right. I mean, is that the thing you guys want to see?
I mean,
really not.
If it was written well, I just don't think it will be written as well as I'd like. So
yeah, I agree.
I'd like to see. I think James, you hit on like him leaving and not like knowing who she was. I thought at some point, even if it is silly, I feel like I remember being like when I was starting at acting and in improv classes. One of the things that they always point is like, we want to see you be affected. And she just plays off the 30. I don't want her to cry about it, but I want to see her affected. Like, it's like, she knows that that she has to play this, but at some point it's just going to emotionally kind of put her down a little bit. She bounces back so fast. It's kind of like, she doesn't even seem human sometimes, it would hurt. Right. It would hurt, because she found something she like.
See, with some women, and I can put myself in the category, we don't want people to see us that way, because that makes us, I don't want to say weak, but we want people to see that we're strong and that things like this doesn't really affect us. We don't want everybody publicly to see it. Now, privately, we'll, eat some ice cream, some cheesecake and stuff like that. By the way, I need to get some. But that I'm gonna be honest, that was the part that got me a little sad, because here she is, making breakfast, and I'm like, oh, girl, okay. You're making breakfast, and then this guy comes out. He's like, who are you? And I'm just like, because now all his hopes and dreams of that 10 is now back to a 6. And for her, she's probably had the best night of her life. She hasn't been dating in forever. So, to kind of have this happen, the kind of just that letdown, that part, I was just like, ooh, we all been there, where person lost interest and couldn't get out fat. Like you said, couldn't get out fat. It's like the reality of what you really are having to deal with versus the reality of the fantasy you saw, and that's, again, goes back to Jen. Jen has to figure that out. Can she still, before she was just regular Jen Walters, but now she's She-Hulk, and people like She-Hulk versus Jen. They don't even want to get to know Jen. Yeah. And that's not fair.
Yeah. I was thinking, actually, when I meant it like by like singer affected, not to him, but to us. Right. She's often the something where we're just like a brief pause where she has to go, she picks up the phone and looks at the mattress thing again, goes like, it's just like it sets in somehow, just so we kind of see that she is dealing with something, And
also, I think she's used to it. Throughout the episode, she kept looking at the phone. It's like no new matches, no, because really, remember, she didn't really want to finish her profile.
Yeah.
She already knew. It's like, okay, I'm not going to get anybody. Like, why am I even doing this? Like, and that's what a lot of females and some guys do that too. It's just like, do I want to be bothered? Yeah. Like, do I want to be bothered with this whole dating thing? Because I'm probably not going to have anybody, liking my profile or anything else like that. Like, why deal with it when I can just throw myself into work? Yeah. We all guilty of it. We're all workaholics.
Yeah. Especially when things get tough, right? Like, just
exactly. And you can actually hide behind your work. Mm-hmm. You don't have to really show your emotions. You can be like, well, let me go ahead and do a JLJ programming schedule for the next 2 weeks. Okay. Like, all right. Like James is doing now.
That's we're on the show.
I'm just trying to figure out like how the show sees Jennifer Walters, like especially as a lawyer. Do they see her as a really confident and talented lawyer, or a really talented lawyer who lacks confidence, or is she? And so, embracing her She-Hulk will give her the confidence to fully become the awesome lawyer that she should be, or is she just an average lawyer? And like being She-Hulk will just make her just at least cool and average. I don't know. I don't know what the show wants me to think about Jennifer just as a person herself.
Or did she actually? Okay. I was gonna say, or did we all know she didn't really like she said in the first episode. Did they hire her because of her merits, or is it because she's She-Hulk? Because if they have She-Hulk at their company, people people are going to go to it. It's sort of like, come everybody, come to JLJ Media because we got Frank, we got Anthony, we got Bozo the Clown doing some magician stuff. You know, what you know, is going to gravitate to people. So yeah, that probably is making her question her own stuff. So we'll see. We'll see if they actually do it.
I'm with Frank. They haven't given us a clear, definitive kind of answer of what kind of lawyer she is. Just haven't. Is she a no nonsense, straightforward, or is she a lawyer who screws up all the time? Like, I feel like we haven't given enough. I don't have a definition of what kind of lawyer she is. Well, I can Frank on that one. I can that one.
Also, it's kind of interesting. Like it's like, well, I thought we were going to go to Titania, and she was going to fight her on a like more physical superhero level, and it looks like we're going to go just through the attorney stuff and maybe get to the physical stuff after. So I'm curious how that, because it feels like we're always kind of leading up to Titania after that first episode.
Now I have some questions. In the post-credit, mid-credit cartoons, they show an evidence bag with the word Avenger spelled wrong. Is that something?
Well, they showed that since episode 1.
Does that mean anything? I don't understand. Does that mean anything? I don't know what that means. Anybody? Nothing? Okay.
No.
They showed Jake the Demon. Did the Wong send Donnie to a different dimension?
Yep. To the mirrors. He kept saying that. He said, can I send him to the mirrors dimension? And they said no, but apparently he did.
And they showed her taking pics with the other fakes on Hollywood Boulevard. You've been to Hollywood Boulevard. You've seen them out there. It's hilarious. I've seen some sad Wonder Women's. Some sad on Hollywood Boulevard. I'm like, ooh, you've been through a lot, Batman. And Wonder Woman. I'm like, how old are you, girl? Okay. And of course, at the very end, we were talking about a little earlier, the whole Madison Wong exchange of the alcohol, which you've had while watching This Is Us. And that's it, bitches. Okay.
I just thought the conversation was better. Again, wanted to laugh more. Anthony enjoyed it tremendously.
Yes.
I just loved her calling him Wongers all the time. It just became this little thing. I mean, I agree that it could have like gotten on, like they could have moved on to like maybe if they were like, for me, maybe this would have done it. Maybe if they were making those cocktails like at Wong's place, that would have been kind of funny. Or he would have been making her a cocktail or something. Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying on that, right? I think I just like this. I don't know, that they're so different and weird, and he just kind of lightened up, and he wasn't not being himself. He was totally himself. Just going, no, I don't like that drink. Oh, yeah, I like that one too. But it's just kind of this. I don't know. It was a nice. I mean, like I agree with James. I would like to see more Wong in general. I'd totally love to see that show.
If there's a Wong series, she will show up at some point.
Yes. Yes.
Now, Hayward Wong, no relation, says, currently the Avengers team is in a state of flux. I say the team is Bruce, Captain Marvel, Wong, and Shang-Chi. I don't know what that means, so.
Well, I mean, the Kong Dynasty. That's next year.
I have no idea.
We've got Captain America. We've got, Sam,
Yeah, Sam Falcon is going to be Captain America. But we also got, we got 2 Avengers movies coming back to back. We got also Secret Invasion. Well, And
I think Thor will still be around. I mean, we're introducing Hercules, who's also been an Avenger.
That's true.
Hercules? Oh my God, how funny. I know Hercules. I don't know him personally, but I do know Hercules.
I remember Hercules.
I remember him. We go way back. Me, him, and Caesar. We go way back.
Me and Herc.
Yeah, well, you was around that time.
Thank you, Tony Moore. That's how that works. Yes, I am the oldest person on the panel, and I was there when they all started. Zeus, Thor, everybody. I was right there making decisions. I was directing back then.
We also have White Vision too. We haven't seen.
That's true.
White Vision. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's my adult film's name.
I was thinking Frank. I was like, how can I read this? Frank?
I was biting my tongue in the
only fans called White Vision. Okay.
I'll tell you this, Frank. When you first came on here, I didn't want to be starstruck because I was like, "Oh, you work with Marvel too? That's cool." But I know you as the White Vision.
Thank you for watching my work, Anthony. I appreciate it. It's always good to meet a fan.
Whew.
Hey, it got hot in here, didn't it?
Oh man, the white vision just struck across the screen.
It's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Crazy talk. That's so funny. We've talked longer about this show than the show was actually on the air. We gave it more importance than it probably should have deserved. But that's why we do this show every week. Candice, thanks for being on the show. We'll have you back later in the season.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Candice.
much. Thanks for having me, you guys.
I don't want you as a regular co-host, so I'll have you back later this season.
You put some balance to our show, so I love it.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, Marvel. Thanks for the applause.
They're saying in the chat room that Frank is Professor M.
Oh,
Hey now.
How's that, Professor M? I get that reference. Kids. That one. Candice Mack, tell them where they can find you and all your candy goodness.
Sorry, mine was somewhere else apparently. Okay, so first and foremost, you guys can find me on JLJ Media on the email. I played the VIP, which is the important breakout character apparently. You can catch me on the award-winning audio drama series Forever and a Day on all streaming services. Thank you very much. You can also catch me on 2 podcasts talking about soaps. Take 2 Radio and Soap Party 411. Also, my side gig apparently is Bold Live, which is every Friday. I don't know if I'm going to be on tomorrow or not. Probably, yeah. Okay. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Candy Pool, TikTok and Instagram at CandyMac82. There you have it.
Anthony Tupasi, tell them what's going on with your goodness.
I'm on. Just go to JLJ Media. I play Caleb Kringle on many other shows. I have a new song out called "Nature Is Me" with a new music video. Thanks to James.
Woo! Shirtless.
I play the.
And it's number 1.
I also play the villainous The Gap on the Tooth Fairy show. I'm also on YouTube. You can find me at Nerd Java.
Hey.
It's not just green, it's me. I don't know. Just go to JLJ and James will always lead you to my places. Go find him and you'll find me.
And Frank Moran, the OG.
Oh my! Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
And OnlyFans at White Vision.
That's right.
That's not true. Don't try to look it up. It's not true. We're just kidding. Try to look it up. And you'd be like, "Where's Frank? Where is he?"
OnlyFans, White Vision. You know what I mean?
White Vision.
Or Professor M.
Professor M. As I say.
I'm locking that in. As
He's locking that in. He's like,
locking it in. That's code 2.
I know some ladies who would probably sign up if we did it for real. Mm-hmm. I know some. Everybody saying Anthony kept the great work. Who am I? I'm where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. I'm on TikTok. I am on everything. Just follow me everywhere. Patreon.com/James Lott Jr. I'm releasing stuff that I haven't seen in 3-4 years. Some of the stuff's from AfterBuzz. So you want to sign up and see that stuff that's on there. Some of your favorite stars. Also, buymeacoffee.com, James Lott Jr. Super chats are enabled on here. So be kind, rewind. Also, I have a private Zoom event happening September 17th, my second one. The first one was a big success. The second one seems to be more successful. People are signing up. So go ahead. I put it in the all the stuff. You want to follow it. You can find it everywhere. Also, Frank's emails. They want to know, where are you at?
Yeah, Frank, I want to know too. Mm-hmm. I have money on this.
We get 200,000. Nice. I've been sending him emails, so I hope we get 200,000.
This is good. Yep. Here we go. We're at
wait,
194.
Wait, I'm gonna write that down.
194,082.
His matcher.
And how many missed calls did you miss?
168. Everybody's waiting to see you to 2,000, 200,000. I'm trying to get you there. I'm pressing your emails.
Frank, I'm sorry about the 153. I just really wanted to talk to you about this X-Men thing.
No. Totally cool. Totally cool.
Right. 153,000. Yes. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back next. We'll be back next Thursday with my friend Kim. She'll be on and she'll
keep it going, Kim. Keep it going, Kim.
She will. I think she will. We'll see you guys next time. Good night.